Hey everybody, Mountain Grandma here. I wanted to do two things with this video. First off, I wanted to thank all of our subscribers for watching our videos and just for your support, for liking and commenting. We have passed our milestone of 300 subscribers and it looks like YouTube's going to let us keep them. So I think it's time that we talk about a giveaway. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to limit this to our United States subscribers only, because I'm going to try to do what Miss Southern Belle did. And if you all haven't seen that shout out video that I did, I had won a prize and she sent me this box with all kinds of goodies in there. So I'm not going to speak to what the full prize is going to be, but I wanted to put together a box like she did and just share the joy, because it was so fun going through, you guys. I will tell you one of the things I'm going to include though, because I received a gift from my brother and sister-in-law. So that's the Mountain Martins and Shelly. They sent me this, which is awesome. Heck, I love this year-round. I don't even need to wait for Christmas for that. And then she does. She makes soap. She makes the cold process soap, which I've been making soap, but mine's the melt and pour and stuff, and always fun to receive somebody else's handmade items. So she sent me some awesome, shoot, I don't know if the lighting's going to let you see that. There's one. There's another one. She sent me some soaps, and she sent me some shower steamers, and I will be keeping some for myself, but I'm going to include some of these in the giveaway, so you'll have some stuff from the Mountain Martins, Shelly over there, that makes these items. And I'm going to include a couple other things, and some stuff that's homemade, some stuff that I purchased, and it's just going to be a fun giveaway box. So I hope everybody will join that. If you live in the United States and you are a subscriber, so subscribers only, just put a comment down below that says enter me in the giveaway, so I know to include you. And then let's give everybody time. So at the end of next week, and that'll be Friday the 14th, we'll close it by the end of Friday the 14th, and then I'll announce the winner on Saturday the 15th. Also, I will be on Round the Hay Bale on Monday morning. If you all haven't checked that out, it's a podcast, but it's also on YouTube. So go over to the Round the Hay Bale channel, and you'll be able to subscribe so that you can join that live. It'll be Monday morning, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time for y'all that are on Eastern Time. And then we're going to be doing a live on Tuesday for the goal setting, and that'll be here on my channel with Lisa with Yogi Hollow Farm. So look forward to seeing you then. Now on to today's video to talk about our tea of the week, which is gallbladder tea. So my tea of the week this week is more than just a tea of the week. I'm going to talk about gallbladder pain, treatments, including some teas, foods you can eat, and also talk about some gallbladder flushes and present a couple of those. I'm using quite a few books to capture all this information. This is part of one of my goals for the year, which is to get my herbal information. I have different folders, different notebooks, different books that I use, and I'm trying to pull the information all together so I can keep it in one binder. And I took quite a few notes on this. Just a reminder and a disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am not a licensed herbalist. There is no licensing agency in the United States for herbalism like there are for nurses and things like that. This is based on my research, and I'm happy to share my references, but you need to, I'll borrow from two old people on a couch, do your own research. definitely look these things up yourself. I am not suggesting treating any or curing any disease or illness. I am telling you what we do. I'm going to share that too, specifically what we do. But I'm going to share the references and everything for all the information I'm giving you guys, and I hope that you enjoy it. If there's other things that you all do for gallbladder issues, please leave a comment down below. I'd be interested to hear it. I don't think any of us knows everything. We just know what we know, and I'm happy to share what I know, but you all might know something else, so interested to hear that. All right, moving on. So your gallbladder is a small pear-shaped organ that lives right underneath your liver on the right side of your body. Kind of sits like this. In TCM and Ayurveda, they refer to the liver as the general. So they consider the gallbladder as the helper organ to the liver. I mention this because a lot of what I'm going to share with you, the herbs and things, are actually things that help clean that liver out. So the gallbladder stores the bile that is produced by the liver. So if what comes out of the liver is sludgy, it's going to result in a sludgy gallbladder. And the gallbladder releases that bile into your small intestine, or the duodenum, like the beginning of the small intestine. So if we can keep the liver clean, we can keep that gallbladder in good shape as well. So you're going to notice a lot of herbs that help that. Now we're going to talk about symptoms. Okay, so symptoms of gallbladder pain. It will be pain that's on the upper right side, right under like your lowest rib, on your upper right side. And it might not look like I'm doing the right side in the camera because of the reversing thing, but upper right side. With that being said though, I have also a friend who had their gallbladder removed and they thought they were having a heart attack. So it will be chest pain. It can be piercing through to the back along the shoulder blades. If you're having a gallbladder attack, those are like your gallbladder attack symptoms. But you can have symptoms even before you have a gallbladder attack. Bloating after eating, gas, indigestion, and TCM and Ayurvedic medicine even refer to you might have tension in the back of your shoulders, near your neck, and a bitter taste in your mouth. Those are symptoms that come from TCM and Ayurveda, so Western medicine might not be in agreement with those. But those are your general symptoms. If you have those symptoms, best to treat it early and do some of the easy stuff, like eat the foods that are good for you, cut out the foods that are bad for you. Even if it's only for a couple of weeks, it's going to have an impact, somewhat. Depends on how good you are. But attack it early before it attacks you is the best way to put it, because gallbladder attacks are not a fun thing. All right, and now I'm going to go on to the diet, the foods to avoid, and foods that actually act as a healer for your liver and your gallbladder health. Okay, foods to avoid. Fried fatty foods, and I saw avocado on some of the lists. Dairy products, nuts and nut butters, and of course, all of those wonderful tasty chips that we eat. I actually saw a recommendation from Leslie Tierra, who's a renowned herbalist, to limit the amount of turkey that you have as well. I'm not quite sure why, because that is considered like a lean meat, but I don't know, maybe there's something in it that is irritating, or something people can be sensitive to. We are not big turkey eaters anyways, so that's not a tough ask for us personally. But I wanted to mention that, even though I didn't find it anywhere else. Foods to use. And I actually, when I wrote this, I wrote foods to use. Obviously, this is foods to eat. If you're going to avoid certain foods, you need to know what foods to eat. But I put use because, you know, what's obvious is you're going to eat your fruits, your vegetables, legumes are on the list of good foods, unprocessed grains, and lean protein. But a couple of these foods are also supposed to be helpful in clearing out the sludge and the possibly breaking down the stones, is what they claim, that occur or build up in that gallbladder. So artichoke. When you steam your artichoke, the liquid that is left in the pan, drink that. That is supposed to be helpful. Radishes. Eating radishes every day can help clean out your gallbladder, as well as beets, carrots, and dark leafy greens. Those are supposed to be some healing ones as well. Special note for radishes. You're going to hear me mention this again in the herb section, and there is actually a claim in the Healing with Whole Foods by Paul Pitchford. I've shared that book before. Let me see if I can pull it out and show it to you guys. Healing with Whole Foods. In here, I like the way he says it. Radishes remove deposits and stones from the gallbladder. It's one of the things that we use. Remember how I said I'd share what we do? It's one of the things that we do. We eat radishes, and we both still have our gallbladders. So far, so good. But those are the foods. Now I'm going to go on to talk about herbs. Okay, herbs. So when we're talking about making an herbal tea for treating gallbladder symptoms, keep in mind the things that we're looking for. We want an herb that's an anti-inflammatory, because that's going to help decrease the inflammation and the swelling. An antispasmodic, that reduces the constriction and the pain that comes from that. Also, something that's hepatic, it's going to benefit your liver. An immune enhancer, if this is like a chronic problem. The immune enhancer I would include, I don't know if it's in any of the teas that I've listed, but it would be golden seal would be the immune enhancer that I would suggest, and I've seen that in places. I don't think there's any other immune enhancers that would be my go-to. I would just go to golden seal. A nervine to ease the pain and stress, and then again your cholagogues, which are the things that just clear out your liver for bile production. I did want to share, I have this really neat old book by Penny C. Royal, Herbally Yours, and they give a list of gallbladder herbs and herbs for gallstones. Cool little book if y'all can pick one up on eBay or something. It has a buy herb listing in it, and shows you what each herb is good for. Just a list. For finer details, you need to go somewhere else. But then in addition to that, it has health issues, and then gives a list of the herbs that are good for the health issues. And I'm going to show you, it has some that I did not mention, and I'm going to show you those. You will see golden seal on this list, and you'll also see what some people use as garlic. And I don't know if you all have watched my fire cider recipe, but I have a fire cider that has garlic in it, so I just make sure my husband starts taking his fire cider too, and me, of course, if it's me. But anyway, here are you'll see the list for gallbladder, and then there's another list for gallstones. There at the bottom. I'll hold it there for a second, so if you want to screenshot that and write them all down, you can. One of the things I'm doing, including all that in my binder, remember? All right, moving on. Dandelion root, burdock root, turmeric actually increases the bile flow and decreases inflammation, and it's even been proven in blood tests before, so that's a great one. Also an herb called gentian, G-E-N-T-I-A-N. I've never worked with that one, but it was in the list. Oregon grapefruit, yellow dock. I know a lot of y'all have yellow dock, like growing. That's a good one. Radish, remember we just talked about that. They actually consider it an herb too. Milk thistle, artichoke, we talked about that one. Marshmallow root. If you can have any of that to include, it reduces inflammation, and it's also it's mucilaginous. In other words, it's kind of slimy. Don't worry, you're not going to have a slimy tea. That would be disgusting. But when it goes into your body, it works that way. So it kind of soothes the inflammation as it travels through your body, which is nice. Nettle is also a good inflammation reducer, and it's also easy. It's like nettle grows in so many places. Chamomile, it reduces inflammation, and it's an antispasmodic. That's our go-to, by the way, is a very, very strong chamomile tea. and cramp bark, which is also an antispasmodic. If you have that one, you could use it. All right, so those are the general herbs. Now I'm going to share with you a couple of tea recipes that I found, and I'm also going to tell you what tea we use. Okay, now I'm going to talk about herbal tea recipes, and the ones I'm going to share aren't what we use, but I will share with you what we use at the end. I'm going to give you the references for these. So the first one is from Leslie Tierra with Healing with Herbs of Life. This book I've shared with you all before. She suggests 1 part each, which part just means use a teaspoon, let 1 part, just be a teaspoon and mix it all together. Oregon grape or barberry, which is another herb. Gravel root, that's an herb. Wild yam, turmeric, fennel, and marshmallow. And then a 1/2 part of ginger. And she also suggests possibly including dandelion, artichoke, or gentian. Keep in mind, you can swap some of those out. I would not have some of these, and we'll get to what I do in a minute. So that's one recipe, though. Another recipe is from The Way of Herbs. This book by Michael Tierra, their husband and wife, both herbalists. He suggests doing 1 part dandelion root, 3 parts gravel root, 1 part parsley root, 1 part lemon balm, 2 parts marshmallow root, a 1/2 part ginger root, a 1/2 part licorice, and of course licorice root, like the herb, not the candy. And that's because licorice can be a demulcent and it's also a harmonizer of other herbs, so they include it in a small amount in a lot of recipes. You basically simmer all of your roots together for about an hour and then let it simmer down so that it's stronger. And then, of course, strain out your herbs, but your roots, and then add in the lemon balm, or you could just add the lemon balm in. I don't think you even need to strain your roots off. Add your lemon balm, steep it for another 20 minutes, and then you can strain it off and drink a 1/2 cup every 2 hours is what he suggests. And lastly, Herbs for Health and Healing. This is an old book. I still love to look through this one every now and then. I am going through my herb books. I found some of them, I kind of pulled out what I need out of them already, and so they'll be included in my giveaway box. So the Herbs are for Health and Healing. This one is a teaspoon each dandelion root, Oregon grape root, and marshmallow root. So there you've got like your liver herbs, right? And your marshmallow root, remember that's anti-inflammatory and it's also like mucilaginous. So. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of chamomile and nettle leaves. Of these recipes, this is my favorite one, partly because the herbs that it uses are more common, and I like to just have what I'm going to use, so we'll have herbs that get real old. But I do like this one. Again, simmering your roots first, because they got to cook the longest, 30 minutes to an hour. And then after they've simmered for that long, then you can add in your leaves and your flowers and simmer it for another like 15 to 20 minutes. And then once that's done, you can strain it and drink it. Okay, so here's how it goes at our house. If I notice I have had some of the upper right pain, symptomatic of like gallbladder pain, and when that happens to me, I start drinking lemon water. I start eating radishes, and then I don't have that anymore. So in addition to that, I have a burdock root tincture that I like to take, and I have a dandelion tincture also. So I'll kind of mix both of those, and I'll do dandelion tincture and burdock root tincture both for a couple of weeks, and try to eat 2 to 3 radishes a day for a couple of weeks. After I start, I won't have any more of those pains. So I assume it resolves itself, and for 2 weeks I'll try to drink lemon water every day because that is also supposed to be helpful. Another food that I just remembered that I wanted to stress that I don't think I stressed it, another food, pears. So in addition to radishes, I might eat pears because pears are supposed to also be really helpful with your gallbladder and your liver. Doesn't hurt to eat pears. I like pears, so not a big ask for me. For my husband, he will get the gallbladder attacks that are more painful and uncomfortable. When he does that, usually it happens at night. Last time he had it, I had made some fried deer fingers, the deer finger steaks. You cut them up, roll them in egg and flour and fry those suckers. Tastes so yummy. And I had made some gravy and biscuits. It was a wonderful meal, y'all. Totally did him in though. Then he ended up with a gallbladder pain because that's the food that'll irritate it. So it usually hits him in the evening. And so the first thing that we always, and my husband's he has a good ticker. We don't have to worry about him. However, if you ever have any kind of upper pains, like I don't care where it is, take your blood pressure. Make sure your blood pressure is in good shape. If you're somebody who does struggle with any heart issues, it would not hurt to take a couple aspirin. That way you're kind of treating the worst case scenario being, any cardiac chest pain. You don't want to think it's a gallbladder if it's a cardiac chest pain, right? Like monitor that closely. And then this is what we do. So I will make him a really, really strong chamomile tea. Very strong chamomile tea. And if I have any marshmallow leaf or marshmallow root in the house, because I have a she shed I keep my herbs out in, I'll add some of that in there too. Otherwise, if all I have is chamomile, and I buy my herbs from Mountain Rose Herbs, is one of my main suppliers for my herbs. If I'm not growing it or harvesting it, I'll make that, and then he will eat a bunch of radishes. And by a bunch of radishes, I mean grab a bunch. You buy them in bunches. I clean them up and cut them up for him, and he'll eat every one of them, and that will take care of it. And then for the next several weeks, he tries to watch his diet, eating unprocessed grains, no hamburgers, trying to stay away from the fried foods, and I'm not frying anything for dinner. We're not eating fast foods. He's not crazy about lemon water. I will try to get him to drink that, but he's not crazy about it. He really goes the route of, we go to the store, we buy more radishes. So I need to grow a lot of radishes this year. It's our medicine. So I will get radishes. He will be eating like radishes every day, drinking lots of water. He'll eat pears because he loves pears. And I've never used artichoke for treatment of gallbladder pain, but I do try to maybe make it for us once a month or something. But that's what we do. That's the ticket for us guys. That's super strong chamomile tea and radishes. And it takes care of it. So we kind of go the easy route with that. I've also heard of people using castor oil packs that they put on their stomach. I've never done that. All right, now we're going to talk about gallbladder flushes. All right, now we're going to talk about gallbladder flush. A gallbladder flush is kind of a shortcut way of cleaning out your gallbladder. When I mentioned to you what we do, like the immediate treatment, chamomile tea, eating radishes, and then going, taking our dandelion burdock tincture, right? After that, we go to a change in our diet, and we kind of do it the slow way. I have never done a speedy gallbladder flush, nor am I a really big fan of them. And not because I've personally heard of anything bad happening. I guess I tend to be very conservative as a person, and in my choices that I make with herbs that I use. And my concern with the gallbladder flush is, I guess I'm just thinking, gosh, what if there's a large gallstone or something? You're trying to flush it out, like trying to fit, a square peg in a round hole. Like that's not going to work. And I guess that's my worry, is I don't want to exacerbate any problems that exist. So I'm comfortable with the slow way. If anybody listening or watching this has tried a gallbladder flush, feel free to leave a comment below. I mean, some people might be more bold and want to do that. I'm not so bold, guys. All right, so here's some recipes. I've got 3 I'm going to share with you and tell you which one I would use. So number 1, Healing with the Herbs of Life. So again, this book, Leslie Tierra, she suggests 8 ounces of water or grapefruit juice, 2 ounces olive oil and lemon juice, and 2 cloves of garlic. And her directions are blend it all together. Drink 8 ounces first thing every morning for 4 days, and during those 4 days, eat lightly. I don't think that's a bad one. It's just some people can't do grapefruit juice because of medication, so it would be 8 ounces water, 2 ounces olive oil, 2 cloves garlic. You know, follow a light meal. I like that one. That one's not, I don't think that's going to harm anybody. It's slower, so it gives those gallstones and everything a chance to get smaller. I would also eat a lot of radishes during that time. All right, number 2, healing with whole foods. So again, this one came from this book. According to Paul Pitchford, he says diet, eliminate restricted foods that we talked about earlier, switch to a diet of unrefined grains, vegetables, fruit, and legumes. We talked about that. And include the following foods to hasten gallstone removal: pears, parsnips, seaweed, lemon, lime, turmeric, and radishes, because it removes deposits and stones from the gallbladder. That came from his book. I like this one probably the best. For 21 days, eat 1 to 2 radishes per day and drink, he says 3 cups of cleavers, which I don't have those herbs, or 5 cups of chamomile. That's a lot of dang chamomile. We've never had to do that, but... And he suggests adding 5 teaspoons of flaxseed oil over your food at 1 meal per day. So I'm picturing, like, you know, a salad dressing made from flaxseed oil. I like the way this one moves slow. He stated, and this is a quote, "The above diet with specific stone-dissolving foods are usually sufficient to remove all sediment." So that's supposed to be a really good one. You know, just how bad is it and how stringent is it? All right, and then the last one, again, is from the same Paul Pitchford Healing with Whole Foods book. He says, day 1, eat apples all day, at least 4 or 5 of them, and the green ones are the best, but any will do. Drink water or herbal teas, no other drinks, and at bedtime, warm up 2/3 of a cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and add 1/3 of a cup lemon juice, and sip that slowly before going to bed. When you go to bed, lie on your right side with your right leg drawn up. And all stones should pass in the morning. If you want a milder version of that, he says, for 5 consecutive days, take 2 tablespoons olive oil, followed by 2 tablespoons lemon juice. All right, so that's the 3 of those. Again, I feel like I share with you what we do. We watch our diet, you know, right after the incident happens. We immediately treat it by starting the dandelion root and burdock root tinctures to help clear out our liver. I do it in a tincture rather than a tea because, hello, that stuff's nasty. I don't know if you guys have tried dandelion tea. Oh, it's so awful. It's the most awful thing in the world. Dandelion root can be used as coffee when it's roasted, but to just use dandelion root or dandelion leaves for tea is pretty awful. So I like the tincture there, and then we will, for me especially, I'll drink a lot of lemon water. My husband not so much, he'll just drink the water. But we go to radishes. To ease the immediate pain, that chamomile tea, like right off the bat, as soon as you can get it into you. And feel free to drink, usually 1 strong cup helps my husband, and then he'll like go to lay back down because it'll be the middle of the night, and he might wake up again with more pain, and I might have some still steeping, which doesn't hurt anything. That way, if he does get back up again, he can pour himself a cup, and it's going to be, you know, even stronger. And then that usually knocks it out, and he'll eat radishes too when he gets up. So that's what we do. And he might even, let's say he hadn't been taking his fire cider for a couple days, he might take a teaspoon of that. That nips it in the bud for us. It's always, we've never had to take him to the hospital. It's never not gone away. And the longest that he's done on like doing the good diet and stuff, it's really hard for him. He loves those good foods that are so bad for us. But the longest that he's lasted is a couple of weeks, and he has not had a gallbladder attack, gosh, in months. And it was when I had made those the fried deer steak fingers. But that's what we do, and it's kind of like the flush that Healing with Whole Foods had suggested for that 21 days. Eat 1 to 2 radishes, because he'll do it. He will keep eating those radishes. All right, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I have some other videos like this that I'll be putting together as I try to get my binder in order, and I hope you find them beneficial. If you have any information requests, put them down below. If you'd like me to do videos on anything in particular, I'll dig into all my herbal books and pull all my information together and give you those references. I am going to provide a shot of the books I used for this one for you guys to reference. And thank you again so much. I hope you all will like and subscribe, and again, leave a comment. I enjoy hearing back from you all. And good luck, everybody, on the giveaway.